The thing about the ship is the ship's been to hell. It's a scientific way into the haunted house.
It creeped me out pretty good, man. I'm gonna
Oh,
tell you.
oh, I did push for some funnier lines in there.
I did watch Event Horizon today. It's actually the first time that I saw it. I'm thinking maybe I wasn't allowed to watch it when it came out or something like that. I don't think that can be true. I was probably in my mid-20s or something like that when it happened. By the way, what a cast in that movie.
No,
I was
I
blown
mean,
away. Yeah.
seriously, soup to nuts. Soup to nuts.
I mean, Jason Isaac's in there. I forget the young African American gentleman who's now in
Oh yeah, no, he's been in a ton of stuff. Richard T. Jones,
yeah, I mean just
um, Sean Pertwee, who's like the shit. It's like, it's one of these things. Every time I have something getting up to made, I'm just like slipping Sean Pertwee into the cast list, and it's like, they're like, this is a this role's for a woman. I'm like, Sean. Sean is great. Sean would do great drag. He would be so good in drag. It's like,
I
let's put
mean
Sean Pertwee in.
Jolie Richardson. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Like it's always fun to go back and watch movies that were made a little while ago to see who was kind of on the come up and enjoy
Yeah.
their performances. So no, it was yeah, seriously blown away by that cast. How'd you come up with the pitch and the idea for it?
Oh, wow. Well, there's a couple of things. Oh, first of all, Shining, best movie ever. We can just like
Great.
put that down. That was a film. Not only has it, I think it's a film that has held up incredibly well, but it's also, I happen to see that at the age of 13. And it's that point at which, when you're 13, 14, 15, especially if you like horror movies, those are that is the time in your life where the movie will just dig a groove in your brain.
Mm.
Usually because I think as a young adolescent, you are going through stuff that you're not aware that you're going through. And horror movies specifically really help you navigate on an unconscious level the process to becoming an adult. So, so, so first of all, there's The Shining. Then my next favorite film is probably Alien. And I really love, I love 2001. I love the sort of realistic approach to science. I was reading A Brief History of Time, which I ended up reading in one day, which is not as impressive as it sounds when I didn't have anything else to do that day and it was raining and I was kind of under the weather. But that's a book that like I'd read for 15 minutes and stop and have to close my eyes because you could just feel your brain kind of breaking
Mhm.
because you're using language. He used language to describe concepts that are completely outside of human experience. And and what I came away with is that something that, they don't really address in Star Trek, which is, I grew up with Star Trek and love it, but you think about the warp drive and you think, wow, if I'm having this trouble just reading a book about space time, if you subjected a human crew to space time or to a type of space time that we have not evolved to experience, they're just going to go nuts. Like the whole idea of, oh, we'll pass through a wormhole or a gateway and no one will notice and everyone will be unaffected. I'm like, bullshit.
Mhm.
It's just like, this is, maybe, are there species that could handle it? Probably, maybe ants. And so what I started playing with was just that idea of, this is a really fun, it's a scientific way into the haunted house.
Mm.
Then when Paul came on, he had a really awesome shorthand with it, which is, the thing about the ship is the ship's been to hell and it's changed because of that. And I really dug that, but I always embraced that as a metaphor because to me, this is going to sound to someone who's a devout Christian, this may be like, I probably sound like the biggest idiot in the world, but to me, the concept of hell isn't scary. Or rather, my version of hell is an uncaring, indifferent universe versus a place where I'm going to be tortured for eternity. So for me at least, hell was like the idea of like, oh, it's Satan coming to get me. I'm like, oh, as opposed to like the alien who doesn't even know, like, am I even alive to the alien, or am I just sort of a mobile source of protein?
Right.
There ended up being some fairly, I think, heated discussions, and myself on one end who was like there's no, it's just chaos and entropy. That's what it is. And the studio on the other side was saying, we need to make it very clear that it's Satan, that Sam Neill is Satan, and then it's hell,
Hmm.
because they're thinking, they want Exorcist, the Exorcist in space. And we actually, I think, through all of that, landed in a really cool place, which is just the line like hell is just a word.
Hmm.
Let me show you.
Yeah. No.
And there we go, done. Because ultimately it is a religious argument or an argument over language when, who cares? Who cares if it's, oh, the devil doing this, or if it's entropy and non-Euclidean space-time. It came out really well.
No, it did. And I'm not someone who watches a lot of movies in that genre. I'm not a horror kind of guy. Um, I'm I'm married to a woman who only wants to watch comedies. And so, we are on the much lighter side of things like that. And, it creeped me out pretty good, man. I'm gonna
Oh,
tell you.
oh, oh, sorry. I actually I did push for some funnier lines in there.